ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336 once again for episode 199 of the 815 Exchange. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, well, 199, and this is a monumental episode, not just because it's the last episode before 200, and I now have a week to figure out what am I going to do special for 200, because we gotta add a little spice to those century mark episodes. I have a couple things circulating, but not just because of that, but it also is likely. And really probably not even likely. This might be the last episode in the 336. Of course, I told you a couple weeks ago I am moving to Charlotte. I'm moving back to Charlotte, should I say. So 815 will be back, likely from that black couch you saw, I think, a couple episodes ago. But yes, we will not be live from the 336, probably for some time. But yes, it's also Memorial Day, so shout out to, everybody here in the States celebrating Memorial Day as we remember those who have fallen. Another housekeeping thing. As you can see, a little bit different of a setup. I mean, you really can only see this far up, but this is a new gaming desk actually that I'm set up at. My father just bought it. So yeah, shout out to RS Gaming for the gaming desk. Absolutely insane. One of the best desk setups I've ever seen in my life. It's got LEDs, plenty of compartments. It's massive. You can't see it now, but we had an iPad, 2 laptops. I have my laptop on here, and of course we got the mic right here. It's just an absolutely insane setup, an incredible gaming desk. So yeah, shout out to RS Gaming for that. And yeah, I think we've covered all bases. It's a big week for me. If one of you that are involved in decisions that make this a big week, I hope you make it a very good week for me. But yeah, as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a lot of subject matter to talk about, but we do have important things to talk about. And of course, WNBA, we're gonna let you have the main event, but the NHL is going to kick us off as it is conference finals time. All right, we are winding down. All right. We are winding down towards the nitty-gritty here of the playoffs, getting closer and closer to either the finals or the championship, however you want to call it. And here, all right, here we are. We're going to start off here in the West. All right, we're going to start from the West Coast. Though neither team is on the West Coast, let's be honest. The Dallas Stars. There's been a reoccurring theme with the Dallas Stars when I've talked about them here on the 815 Exchange throughout this playoff run, through every single NHL segment. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm here to talk to you about the Dallas Stars getting a win, by the way, 3-1 here in Game 2 to tie up the series. But once again, who is the star man? Who have I said all playoffs long as a Conn Smythe potential winner and has been the catalyst with all of the veterans who have done bits? But who has been the catalyst for success for the Dallas Stars? It has been one man, and it is the goalie, Ryan Oettinger. He did it again, ladies and gentlemen. 28 saves, .966 against that absolute dynamite Edmonton Oiler offense, of course, led by the best player on God's green earth, Connor McJesus. But yes, the Stars get it done 3-1. They scored 2 to put it to bed in the third period. Again, this has been, through 2 games, very back and forth series. Really both of the games, honestly, we had past weekend for the NHL. We're both very good. Both look like we might have some very interesting series brewing. But yeah, the Stars get it done. They got a lot of momentum, man. They got a lot of momentum. They got it back here in Game 2 after losing Game 1. Of course, Edmonton, like I said last week, and one of the things that helped them advance to the conference finals is, of course, the fact that they do have Connor McDavid. They do have Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. They do have Leon Draisaitl. They have all of this talent that can change the game on a dime. So with Oettinger playing the way that he has here in the playoffs, and if he can keep up this form, if he can keep playing this dominantly and having these performances where he almost steals games for the Stars, I think that bodes well for their success in getting to the Stanley Cup Finals. So yeah, once again, another star-making performance from Oettinger. Dallas gets 2 clutch goals in the third. They win Game 2. Game 3, I believe, is tonight. It's going to be a very interesting one. The New York Rangers. All right, it was another, listen, the Knicks fell off. The Yankees have been rising, and so have the New York Rangers, ladies and gentlemen, as they take a 2-1 series lead over the Florida Panthers. And once again, the Eastern Conference is a different breed in terms of physicality, and just some of these games have been absolutely insane in the East. All right, have been absolutely insane on this playoff run for both New York and for Florida. But yeah, this was another instant classic, a certified banger, certified hood classic. All right, 5-4, Rangers get it done in OT. Alex Winberg, Hockey Talk's favorite player, gets the OT game winner. Of course, New York loses their minds. Alexander, listen, a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk since Alexis Lafreniere was drafted number 1 overall, and people were wondering, yo, how good is Laffy? Does Laffy have it? He didn't burst onto the scene, coming off the, the heels of McDavid and Matthews. He didn't, have that dominant rookie season. He took a little bit to develop, but boy, oh boy, did Laffy look like a, superstar. He looked like a 1-1 guy in game 3. He looked the part. It was a subliminal performance from Alexis Lafreniere. He had 2 major goals in this game. He was a phenom. All right, he looked like the superstar that he was promised to be, the prince that was promised in New York. And yeah, he showed up big time. He showed up big time, honestly, throughout this playoffs. So yeah, some very, very impressive stuff from Lafreniere. Sam Reinhart got 2 Gs as well for Florida. So, like I said, very high-scoring game. Was not the finest game for Bob or Igor, but, it was a great game as a neutral, a great game to watch. Of course, it went to OT, so yeah, we had some classic stuff there. But yeah, Laffy too much. Winberg is the OT winner. Rangers go up 2-1, take the momentum. We'll see what happens in game 4. See if Florida can, tie it up. Game 4 in these situations is always pivotal because it can really be the difference between, is this game, is this series going 6? Is it going 7? Or are we going to end up with a 3-1 situation and this team now has to play from their back? So, yeah, very interesting situation brewing, but the East has continued to deliver, and it delivered once again in Game 3. Now, like I said, there's not a lot of major subjects. I do want to say, even though I didn't put this in my notes, the Women's Hockey League, the PWHL, I believe, having their finals going on right now. That was an absolutely insane finish. Minnesota thought they won the cup. Goalie interference, comes back out. New York, I think, scores, and then completely leaves. That was absolutely insane. Before I finish up the NHL hockey segment. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we don't have too many major subjects, so we are already here at what is usually the midpoint of the show. We're here at entertainment. No movies this week. Well, I mean, technically there were movies, but I didn't go see Furiosa. Nothing against Anya Taylor-Joy. I adore her, and I heard the movie was good. Unfortunately, apparently I wasn't the only one because apparently nobody saw that movie because it bombed. First weekend it bombed. We'll see if it can make back profit, but it was not a good opening weekend for Furiosa. But yeah, nothing in movies this week. Shows, I've been watching Vikings, caught up. We are now in season 3. Stuff is starting to simmer, starting to cook. And yeah, it's lived up to the billing so far, Vikings. So yeah, we've been watching that. But we did have some music this week. We did have a couple things drop musically. RM, all right, RM, my boy, my dog. All right, Right Place, Wrong Person, the album, the project. Of course, he is still in the military, but still was able to give us this project and give us some MVs to go with it. Reacted to one of those on Ocho React, so if you want to check out that, you got that there. Right Place, Wrong Person. This was one of the, I'm not going to give it a rating because I don't feel like I can give it an accurate rating, or I haven't pinpointed it yet off of first listen, but I'm going to tell you this now. It is one of the best projects I've heard all year. Simply put, it was one of the best projects I have heard all year. It was that good. It was that good. Regardless of genre, regardless of artist, group, solo effort, EP, out, it was one of the best projects I've heard all year. Probably, I'm going to be honest, as time, I think it's going to grow on me even more. This could be, of the year, like territories. But yeah, it was a very, very special project. I think Nuts was one of my favorite songs off of first listen. But yeah, besides, the singles that we'd heard already. But yeah, that was a very, very special project from RM. His artistry, man, his artistry. I love how he's continued to dive into that, and he's just good. He's got the goods. He's just got the goods. It's the talent and the production. It's the technical aspect, but also the creativity. It's matching up and it's blending so well, and it blended so well, the artistic direction along with the talent here on this project. So yeah, shout out to RM. Absolutely bodied this. Right Place, Wrong Person. Super duper cosign. Almost had a voice crack there. But yeah, absolute fire project. Some of the singles we had this week. Attitude. All right, listen. I saw somebody on Twitter said, the young people, the young folk got Charlie Wilson. They got out here outside. They've kept him outside. And I have to agree. But you know what? Charlie Wilson is a legend, and those vocals are timeless, which is why we keep coming back to that well. And especially in the rap game. A lot of people love using those Charlie Wilson samples or having him throw in for like a chorus or just a little part of the song. Don Toliver and Cash Cobain did the same thing here. All right? Attitude, very, very good single. Again, Don is cooking up something. I think he dropped the like album name. I don't know if we have like an actual release date, but I am hotly anticipating that because he has been on a hell. I don't know what not that Don ever like fell off or wasn't like, hitting. I think he dropped a project last year that I thoroughly enjoyed. But since he became a father, Don Toliver has been in his bag. He's been in his bag. He was in his bag once again, teaming up with Cash and, of course, with the great Charlie Wilson here on Attitude. So, yeah, absolutely fire. One of the best songs that I heard all week. Band for band. I was not sure how I was going to feel about this. Of course, Lil Baby came back with a vengeance, all right, on We Still Don't Trust You, with somehow summoned a elite verse from him. So I was like, all right, maybe Lil Baby's back. And you know what? I was a little bit concerned about how he was going to do on this beat with Cinch and whether Cinch was going to wash him. Because it was very possible with Cinch in the pocket the way he's been recently, this past like year, Baby might get washed. But you know what? He held his own. He held his own, band for band. It was some good stuff. Of course, a nice US-UK collaboration. But yeah, it was some good stuff. All right, it was some good stuff. Cinch did his thing. Baby did his thing. So yeah, all right, band for band. It gets the cosign from me. I was rocking with it. So yeah, we good. Keep it moving. Cinch has got a project coming too. So yeah, very excited about that. Maybe that's coming in the summertime. Wouldn't be mad at that. And lastly, Quavo, of course, after he got annihilated by Chris Breezy, he came back strong. All right, Clear the Smoke was fire. I'm not gonna lie to you. Quavo's music can sometimes hit, sometimes it can miss. But you know what? Quavo did a good job. All right, I will give Quavo his flowers here, in the heaps of that rap beef, which he definitely lost. This isn't like a Drake Kendrick situation where it's like it's kind of up in hands, like in terms of like straight up like who won the feud. No. He got beat down. Like if either, well, I guess Drake and Kendrick did drop, I guess, equivalents to that, but they both dropped it on each other and then just couldn't back anything up. Breezy, I will still stick and stand that Breezy might have had the best like pure diss track in that entire rap civil war, but I digress. We're talking about Quavo. Clear the Smoke, very, very good. I don't know if that's an album cut. It might be. I don't know if he's, coming with a project. But yeah, I thought it was very good. Thought it was very solid. Yeah, it was a good week for music. Again, no like super major. I guess RM is like, he's a superstar, but like no like crazy like rap, beef or crazy like rap album dropped this week. But still, I think we had a lot of good singles, a lot of good music that dropped this week. Taylor Swift still is the biggest gangster on Billboard. She is bullying the charts, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, RM definitely had the best of the week. All right, and that brings us, of course, to the main events of the evening. Let's be honest, you might even skipped here because timestamps are always provided in the description along with everything else you need, including my social media links, and of course timestamps are also embedded in the video. So you may have skipped here. All right, you may have skipped here. This is probably what you clicked on the video for. Let's be honest. You came to hear me talk about the NBA and hear me talk about the conference finals. All right. So I, Ocho, have to deliver the goods, and I am prepared to do that. Unfortunately, two of the teams in the conference finals have not been prepared to, hand over and, supply the goods. Only two teams have. The other two have been one has been MIA, not really their fault, and the other one just don't got it. All right, they just don't got it. But of course, we will be on the East Coast here in North Kakalaki. So we're going to stay on the East Coast and talk about Boston and, of course, the Indiana Pacers. Listen, I don't want to slander the Celtics. And it feels very weird to slander a team that is up 3-0. It feels very strange to do this. And I'm not being a hater, but the Boston Celtics are such an unserious team. They are an unserious team. It is so hard to legitimately, you have Jason Tatum. I am a Duke fan. You have Jason Tatum. You know how difficult it is for me to be like, man, this is an unserious team with Tatum as the lead superstar? Even though y'all are the Celtics, I almost want y'all to, have some success. look like a legitimate contender. But with all the injuries to every single team that Boston has faced on the come up, on the run to the championship here, the run to the finals, and it happens again here against the Pacers. Halliburton pulls his hammy, I believe, and he's out right now. So I'm thinking game 3, the Celtics are about to make a statement. They're about to blow the Pacers out of the water. So I was very, very confused when for the first 3 quarters of this game before Boston decided, oh yeah, we're the Celtics, we're stacked, let's win this game. Why they were getting the, and I quote famously here on the A15 Exchange, the brakes beat off of them. I was very confused. Very, very confused. No Tyrese Halliburton. Celtics at full power, up 2-0, and y'all were getting beaten down for 3 quarters of this game. Now, a win is a win. 3-0 is 3-0. But the Celtics have to show me, like, you can't just scrape by teams that you should be mauling. And that's what's happening here. That's what happened in the series. Honestly, let's be real, regardless of whether Holly plays or not, the Celtics should be washing this team on paper. Which, of course, the game is not played on paper, I understand. But it shouldn't really be close. Shouldn't really be close. With the talent the Celtics have, with the experience the Celtics have. They don't have that excuse anymore of they haven't been here before. Can they, hold it up like the Thunder? No, y'all have been here, done that. Y'all just have never closed. And once again, it is looking like y'all might just be fraudulent. I can't really tell right now. So I need, when they go for the sweep, I believe tonight or it's tomorrow, close the show. Look like the Boston Celtics. Let your nuts hang, so to speak. If you are that team, if you are a true NBA Finals championship contender, which you are, it appears, and you should be, dominate. Dominate. You need to make a statement. Because this scrape and buy ain't going to work forever. We've seen it. We've seen it before. Y'all scrape by, make it to the dance, moment gets too big, piss rounding down your leg, word to Coach 30, and you fold. And right now, this looks like a Celtics team that's going to fold. So I just want to see them give me more. Game 3, they win 114-111. Once again, no Tyrese Halliburton. How does that happen? JT has been on and popping, though, I will say. My boy JT has been showing up. He has looked like a superstar in this series. 36, 10, and 8. Tatum has been phenomenal. He has looked like exactly who you expect Jason Tatum to be. All right. No slander on JT. He showed up. JB had 24. He dropped a 40 bomb the game before this. So again, not mad at it. Al Horford has somehow summoned I don't know where he's getting this from or why he has turned into Klay Thompson, but hey, it's working, all right? Old man Al, Big Unk, had 23 points in this game. He had 7 threes. He has been shooting the lights out. Andrew Nembhard, I knew this. This was not shocking to me. I watched him at Gonzaga and I watched him at Montverde. I knew what he was. I knew he was going to be a solid pickup, especially with some development on that Indiana team. Nembhard had 32 and 9. He stepped up big time. He was what Indiana needed in this game, so credit where credit's due. Miles Turner had 22 and 10. TJ McConnell has been a dog. He had 23, 9, and 6, but like I said, it was not enough. The Celtics found a way, and the talent eventually won over, but my. Y'all need to show the world, not just me, show the world something. Show the world something. Stop scraping by. Wax them. Wax them. Run them off the court. All right? Y'all need to show me something in game 4 because y'all should and probably will win and get the sweep and we'll break out the broomsticks. But yeah, Celtics need to show me something. But they are up 3-0. So, well, win is a win. Oh, boy. Again, I'm wrong. Not very much, all right? And that's not me being cocky or just being, arrogant. Truthfully, when it comes to this, obviously, and it's, we have 199 episodes worth of content where you can tell whether, my accuracy rating. I'm not wrong very often on this show, but when I am wrong, I have to come up and admit it. I did not know whether the Mavericks had it. In fact, last week I was like, I feel like the Wolves might be too big. Too skilled. Anthony Edwards is looking like MJ's son. And I just don't know with Luka banged up. Can they flip that switch and can they do enough to beat the Wolves? Who at that point in time had to be the championship favorite with the Celtics being, fraudulent. And ladies and gentlemen, I come to you here on Memorial Day, May 27th, 2024, 12:30 p.m. here on the East Coast. And I am admitting to you, Chris Crenshaw, I was wrong. I was wrong. I'm a man enough to do it. I was wrong. And I don't know whether it's the Wolves who used up all their powers to get Joker and Murray up out of here and to take out the championship favorites. I don't know whether it was that. Or maybe Anthony Edwards, he bought into the hype too much of thinking he was actually MJ's son. Or what it was. Or maybe Jordan secretly actually claimed him, so now Ant is playing like he's actually one of Jordan's sons. What it is. Or maybe it's just the fact that, ladies and gentlemen, I have been saying this for a while. And, again, I'm not slandering Joker. Joker is still very much so. Quite possibly, if you say he's the best player in the world, I cannot argue 3 MVPs and what Joker's done. And honestly, what he was even doing against Minnesota in that series. But ladies and gentlemen, I've said this for time after time after time and time again. And I will once again say 2 things pertaining to the Dallas Mavericks. 1, Luka Doncic is a bad man. Or to quote himself, he is a bad mother. He is going to be, if not already, the best player in the world. And he has showed it for 3 straight games. Number 2, Kyrie Irving should have been on that top 75 list. We all know it. We know he's been one of the best point guards of this generation. But most of all, like I said the past couple weeks here on the A15 Exchange, Kyrie Irving, K.I., whatever you want to call him, for all the controversy, is undisputably one of the greatest closers in NBA history. And that is what you have seen for 3 straight games. And here in Game 3, it was no different. 116-107, the Dallas Mavericks take care once again of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Luka Doncic had 33. Unfortunately, he did not hit a vicious game winner on Rudy's head, but he was still talking crazy. Listen, Luka, pound for pound, number 1 trash talker in the game. Sorry, and you were getting your chain snatched. You were getting chain snatched by the Slovenian. All right, Luka is that guy. All right, he is him. He is all of the superlatives, whatever you want to say. He is that dude. All right, pound for pound, might be the best player. Pound for pound, the best trash talker in the game. Kyrie Irving also had a 33 piece. Once again, 4th quarter, Kyrie is undefeated. And you just listen, when he fades away or just pulls up with whatever crazy layup, shot, or if it's a corner 3 that they keep finding him open on, I don't know how the Wolves with all that great defense haven't fixed that. If it happens in the 4th quarter, you just know it's cash money. Irish Spring Green. Hit the Chris Smooth ad-lib because it's a splash. All right? Kyrie is that guy. He had 33. Daniel Gafford did not, again, the box score doesn't look like anything crazy, but he was clutch. That block at the end of the game, and then the dagger. Luka drives to the basket, just leaves it up. Gafford dunks it home while Rudy takes the flagrant, or what should have been a flagrant. Yeah, Gafford, beautiful. Lively got knocked out in this game after he had been playing great once again this series. Hopefully he's back soon. That's going to be important for the Mavericks just going forward and closing out this series. Hopefully that's not too bad of a concussion if that's what it was. And had 26, 9, and 9, but he shot 11 for 24, which is an improvement. To tell you how the first 2 games of the series have gone for Anthony Edwards, 11 for 24 is an improvement. For all of the talk, Anthony Edwards has not showed up for the most part. He was better in this game, but he has not looked like the guy, and we have not felt that same swagger that Ant played with in that Nuggets series. We have not seen that here in Dallas. It's like he left a part of himself in that series, and he hasn't been able to get it back. He hasn't been able to get that thing back. He is looking like what we were talking about earlier with the Celtics and the Thunder thing. Haven't been here before. It's looking like, yeah, this is Ant's first time here to the big dance. This isn't Luka and the Mavs. Certainly not Kyrie's. Even with some of the youth on that team. They've been to the conference finals. This is nothing new. For the Wolves and for Ant, this is looking like, yeah, he's a 22-year-old that he has never been on this big of a stage. And he's looking like, yo, maybe it's getting to him a little bit. He's a little bit too confident in his abilities right now because that shot has not been falling. It has not been falling at all. But yeah, Ants, which are now people are calling him Camp Man, and using that Chipotle. Again, that was so conveniently timed, that Chipotle ad. But yeah, he's getting cooked. But there has been nobody worse. And even though Rudy is the one that's getting absolutely bullied right now as the defensive player of the year, and the Mavericks are literally picking on him, there has been nobody of the stars on that Minnesota team, any of that big three, that has been worse than Karl-Anthony Towns. Once again, I am asking Karl-Anthony Towns to show the world why he is allegedly an all-star caliber center. A former number 1 overall pick. Has he made an all-NBA team? Maybe one, maybe like a third team. If that. But that guy, you know, one of those upper tier centers in the league. I'm waiting for him to show us that. And he's been, we might need to put a missing poster on the back of, the milk carton. Because where has he been? Actually, we know where he's been. He's been on the Dallas, sideline because it feels like he's playing for the Mavs. He has been, honestly, bar Luka, bar Kyrie, bar Gafford and Lively and PJ, he's in that tier with them in terms of most valuable players for the Dallas Mavericks in this series. Karl-Anthony Towns was atrocious in Game 3 once again. 5 for 18. 0 for 8. That last three dropped like a lead balloon. It was like somebody poked a hole in the ball in midair. It was disgusting. 0 for 8 from 3. All-star caliber center. Again, he's got Rudy Gobert on his team, by the way. Your big matchup is against, respectfully, because they're hooping in this series, Daniel Gafford and rookie Derek Lively. And Cat looks like a fish out of water. Disgusting. Absolutely revolting. I think I'd throw up in my mouth every time he shoots the ball. And I can't imagine it's much better for any Wolves fans. Cat needs to show up. He needs to show up. If he wants to make an appearance in Game 4, that would go a long way to maybe, just maybe, Minnesota winning one single solitary game and getting their dignity back, because it's getting ripped from them every time Luka hits another shot or Kyrie makes another dagger. All right, if Cat wants to show up in this series and play not for the Mavericks but for the Wolves, that would be nice. That would be nice. Just from like an entertainment, it would be nice. Wouldn't be mad at it, because he has been absentee. He has been an absentee for the Wolves and a detriment. An absolute detriment. So yes, Karl-Anthony Towns needs to show up and play for his pride, because he has none right now. Luka and Kyrie are absolutely snatching his chain. Luka looks like the best player in the world, and the Mavericks are rolling, looking like they're headed to the finals. Again, them and the Celtics up 3-0. Doesn't really happen too often where both conference finals are looking like sweeps. All right, much of a contrast to the NHL currently going on. But here we are. All right, we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's be honest. Next week for 200, we're probably going to be talking about Mavericks and Celtics. Okay, let's be honest. All right, let's be real. Ladies and gentlemen, with that said, that brings us to the Roundup. All right, that brings us to the Roundup. And of course, it was the biggest week in motorsport. All right, it is the biggest week if you like to drive a car around some type of circular, oval, or just like some type of track that goes windy with a bunch of turns. All right, it was the greatest racing weekend of the year. Of course, that is Memorial Weekend, and that means we have that triple threat of the Monaco Grand Prix, which is a parade, the Indy 500, which always delivers, and the Coke 600, which is the longest race of the year, which can have varying complications. So let's go. Chronologically, of course, starting with F1, because this was a big one, ladies and gentlemen. It was a great week all week for Charles Leclerc. It was a great week all week for Charles. Could he get it done? He was tops in free practice. He won qualifying, which is the all-important, all right, is winning qualifying. And I mean winning, not P1. I mean winning qualifying. Because if you win qualifying at Monaco, because let's be honest, as prestigious as the track is, as cool as it is Monaco and the yachts and the scenery, you can't overtake on this track. All right, so basically where you qualify, bar whoever screws up on, the restart or the start, or, whose car falls apart. That's how you're going to finish. So getting that P1 winning qualified is so important. Monaco, Charles got it done for the third time. But there is a curse. All right, nothing good ever comes from it. Not just at Charles pole, but especially at Monaco. It's faltered somehow last 2 times. Would third time be the charm for the Prince of Monaco? And you know what? First lap, he gets away perfect, ideal Ideal situation, it happens. And we get a red flag because, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what K-Mag was thinking with that whole Checo situation and why he didn't check back or what it was. But by the way, Checo, yeah, that seat just evaporated this past week. Any idea of him being in that seat next year is kind of inconceivable with him missing Q3 again and then crashing out in the first lap. It just, again, wasn't his fault, but just a horrid week for Checo. But anyways, K-Mag takes out Checo and Hulk. So both Haas cars are out. Checo is out. And that means we get a restart after like 30 minutes of them trying to clean up the track and fix the barriers. But yes, Charles gets a second chance. Will this be a time where the curse happens? No. Charles gets a good start. And listen, that's all she wrote. All right, that's all it takes in Monaco is to get that good start, get out in front, and then just control. Ferrari didn't make any mistakes. Charles didn't make any mistakes. And ladies and gentlemen, Charles Leclerc is a winner at the Monaco Grand Prix. He was in tears. The Prince was in tears. I think I cried a little bit at church listening to the results. Listen, it was a beautiful, beautiful moment for one of, the world's favorite drivers. For my favorite driver, Forza Ferrari and Forza Charles. All right, yeah, so yeah, super cool. Charles gets it done. He finally wins Monaco. Great story. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a competition for the WDC and for the WCC. Max only finishes 6th. He only qualified 6th. So yeah, Red Bull might not be as dominant as last year. Very, very interesting. Charles also broke his pole to win and just win kind of drought. So yeah, really, really cool stuff. Shout out to Charles. Shout out to Jackie. Now let's venture back to the States let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. IndyCar Super Bowl. All right, this is the IndyCar Super Bowl, one of the biggest races of the year, regardless of which motorsport or league or whatever you want to call it, federation, whatever. The Indy 500. All right, everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. By the way, I want to say this. IndyCar, you need to do more ovals. Because this was by far the best racing of the day. Which, again, to be fair, with that said, one race that was its competition was Monaco. It's not really a race. And the other one was the Coke 600, which had its weather issues. So, to be fair, they kind of won by default, but nonetheless, it was still an amazing race, which the Indy 500 always delivers, and boy did it deliver the goods. Of course, the headlining thing was Kyle Larson trying to do the double, which we'll get back to. He started off 5th, and honestly, the driving aspect, he's got the goods. McLaren gave him a good car, and Kyle's he's one of the best drivers probably on the planet, I'm being honest. He can drive anything. He can literally drive anything. But the issue was the little things that you can't practice, like the restarts, the pitting, that stuff came back to haunt him. But overall, not a bad day for him at Indy for his first race. He was competitive, led some laps. So yeah, shout out to Kyle Larson. But this came down to Pato O'Ward and the reigning defending Indy 500 winner, Joseph Newgarden. And listen, for a moment in time, it looked good. It looked good for Pato. He took the lead from Joseph starting the last lap, and he had some space, but and it was that last lap was some of the most, and shout out to the announcer. I don't know what his name was, but he set the stage perfectly and provided the energy that you want in those closing moments and something so he made it feel like a big moment. He made it feel like it was massive. This is important. So great announcing there, but Pato takes the lead. They're driving through the first, 2 turns. Pato's looking good, but Joseph is closing in, catching that draft. And then Newgarden, with 1 turn to go, makes an incredible move on Pato, takes the lead back and takes it home to collect his second time Chris in the bricks in his best, and back-to-back, by the way, Indy 500. So yeah, shout out to Newgarden, shout out to Pato as well, even though that was heartbreaking. Again, just an incredible race, an incredible last lap. That was high-level stuff. Them going that fast, the skill, and it was clean. It was clean. It was just good racing, all right? Which is what you want on a day like that. You just want good racing, and Indy gave us that, all right? You gave us some really high-level stuff. So, yeah, shout out to Indy 500 still in today. Joseph and Pato going back and forth on that last lap, but Joseph gets it done and goes back-to-back. Unfortunately, Indy got delayed, of course, by weather, which was a reoccurring thing with the States this week. So it kind of screwed up Larson's doing the double, right? He couldn't start the Coke 600, which means, he wouldn't get any points whether he raced or not. And he got back in time for the race, but as soon as he got back, in what was already a delayed race because of rain, it started to rain again. Chris Bell was in the lead. And it just kept getting pushed back and back and back. And eventually we got to 1 o'clock. And again, NASCAR has started a race back at 3 a.m. in the morning. So again, this is nothing. You've made the people wait all this time. People are like, all right, we want to see the end of this race. We want to see Kyle at least get to hop in the car. But no. They call the race due to the weather. And Christopher Bell, congratulations to JGR because y'all have won the Coke 600. All right, that's it. I know it probably sounded like I was building to something, which is exactly what it felt like keeping track of this race and this entire situation. Like we're building to something maybe good, and then when it's about to hit that apex, it's just done. So, yeah, unfortunate way for the biggest day in motorsport to end, but you know what? That's how the game goes sometimes. Heartbreaking for Kyle that he didn't get to do the double properly. I hope he runs it back next year. Because he definitely has the talent to do so, and hopefully weather doesn't interfere. But yeah, super unfortunate stuff, super unfortunate situation. But yeah, Indy definitely stole the show. Though shout out to Forza Charles, man. Forza Charles. Baseball. Yes, baseball. We're going to talk about the Yankees again. Even though the Phillies, I got to give a shout out to the Phillies. And Bobby Witt Jr., by the way, leading the MVP race and leading the league in WAR, even over, I think, Ohtani at this point. But yeah, the Phillies, by the way, have been hooping. But let me talk about them New York Yankees, the other team that is tied for the league lead in standings. All right? Because Aaron Judge and Juan Soto brought tears to my eyes this week. Even though we lost yesterday to the White Sox and didn't get the sweep. They brought tears to my eyes this week. All right? Judge hit four straight games with 4 homers. Oh God, not 28. Okay, that didn't happen. But he had 4 straight games with a homer. There we go. But yes, the captain is back. The Judge is back, arguably the best player on the planet in terms of form right now. He's back in business, but we also have that Juan Soto guy. He also might be the best pure hitter on the planet. So yeah, he was going off too, all right? Judge is now up to, after the drought, all right, after that horrid start, he is now up to .279, a .279 batting average, 17 home runs, which is tied for the league lead, 39 RBIs. Juanito is at 310, 14 homers, and 44 RBIs. Life is good as a Yankees fan. The pitching staff, Clark, Luis Gill, and Garrett Cole's not even back. Like, they've been doing great. And, of course, Judge and Soto have been dynamite. Stanton has been better as a DH. Verdugo getting into it. So, yeah, it's been really good. And Volpe is making that second-year jump. It's just been a lot of fun, all right? The Yankees look really, really good. Of course, it's a long season. I can't get too high this early in the season. But, yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch the Yankees. And Judge and Soto are the best duo in the league. But we will talk about MLB, of course, more as it becomes probably the main subject with NHL and NBA about to go away and the soccer game going too. Speaking of soccer, Bayer Leverkusen is no longer Bayer Leverkusen, never losing. All right, it's done. It died in the Europa League final, so the treble does not happen. They do the double. They won the German Cup, but couldn't win the Europa League. Lookman had a hat trick. I mean, incredible stuff from him. Played the game of his life. And Atalanta, we've talked about them before. They win the Europa League. Yeah, Bayern it was the first time they looked really they've looked human, but it was the first time where it was like, yeah, the magic just isn't there today. Throughout the game, honestly, the defense wasn't as good. The offense wasn't producing. They just didn't look like they have it. And it just didn't look like there was that point where, all right, late game, here comes the voodoo. It didn't feel like they could summon it. So, yeah, unfortunate to lose it at the Europa League final, but still one of the greatest seasons ever for any team. Shout out to Xabi and shout out to the Bayern Leverkusen team because, yeah, just an immaculate season. WNBA. The rookies have been hooping. They have been living up to the billing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure why we're surprised, but they have been living up to the billing. Even though Caitlin only shot 8 times, which might be the first time since, I don't know if she's ever shot only 8 times in a game in her life. So yeah, I guess technically that was her worst game, though she is still now 4th in assists. So like I said, I was right about that her playmaking was going to translate very, very easily. Still got to get the scoring efficiency up, but compared to rookie guards in the past, She's doing just fine. So yeah, I think Caitlin's gonna be okay. Aaliyah Boston, I know there was a lot of stuff, a lot of talk going on earlier in the week about Aaliyah's play, and I even said it, but yeah, she's played better, getting more into things, looking more like Rookie of the Year Aaliyah. So yeah, Fever still got, a lot to fix, still look like one of the worst teams, which is what they are, one of the worst teams in the league. But, they're getting better. All right, they're getting better nonetheless. They're not as bad as the Mystics, which is, their saving grace. And they finally had an off game after the, by the way, Fever's schedule is absolute lunacy. They played like 6 games in 7 days. It was disgusting. I know it's an Olympic year, but my God, they had to be tired. All right, they had to be tired. Cam Brink has been hooping. Yeah, she is that girl. All right, shout out to Cammy. She's been great. All right, Cam has been great. She had her best game of the season yesterday, dropped 22. She probably should be winning Defensive Player of the Year, at least be the leader in the clubhouse right now, leading the league in blocks. That generational defensive, its profile has easily transferred over. The scoring potential has definitely opened up with more space for her and her being allowed to shoot more and play more perimeter stuff with the Sparks. So yeah, Cam looking like a superstar. Angel Reese has looked really, really good. I always was a little bit higher on Angel than I think everybody else. And I'm not saying she should have gone top 3. I think she ended up honestly, I think everybody. I think Caitlin should have been on the Fever. I think Cam works as what Cam is on the Sparks. And I think the Chicago Sky with Teresa Witherspoon is the perfect situation for Angel Reese. That was a crazy move, I will say, by AT. That foul was insane. But yeah, Angel has looked very, very good. She's been very, very impressive defensively. Again, she has that one thing that will always translate, and that's effort. Energy will always translate. If you play with high effort and high energy, that will always translate as far as you go up. So yeah, shout out to Angel. She's been playing well. The rookie's been hooping. Of course, the OGs, Asia has been hooping. Alyssa Thomas has been on triple-double watch, even though she got thrown out. Dewana Bonner's been cooking. Stewie and the Liberty have looked human, but she's still been very, very good. Enrique's averaging like a 30 ball a game. So yeah. WNBA season, we're going to talk about that a lot more. Probably going to be a major subject going on just because of, the hype around it and how good the season looked like it could be this year. So, yeah. Also, Toronto's getting a team, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, not too long of an episode. Still got some length, but nothing too long. We covered everything. And ladies and gentlemen, from the 336, probably for the last time for a while, but we had a lot of great memories here at this desk, at this setup, and with this mic. So yeah, it was fun. 336, of course, is my hometown for those that don't know. I will miss it, but yeah, it's definitely time for that next chapter and back to the 704. And of course, next week, episode 200. Gotta cook something up special. Hope you guys enjoyed 199. But without further ado, Ocho signing off.